Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage, Area 51, as promised, midweek video, carrying on with the headlight circuit, and we get into the turn signal stuff as well, and kind of rebuild the turn signal switch for the old 51 Fleetline. So we pull that apart and figure out how it works, and put all new wiring and stuff in it, put it back together, and get it installed. But yeah, enough telling you all about it and spoiling the surprises. Let's just get into it, get carrying on, and get some more wiring done on this thing. Chicken wing. So let's do it. Where we leave off last night, I was supposed to be thinking about this overnight, and I didn't really do much thinking of anything. I watched a really kind of disturbing movie on Netflix or something like that. But anyway, so I will start, I guess, with the piece that's got the plug in here, and we'll work out which wires need to be kind of trimmed down and kind of run through the firewall. Some of it does, some of it doesn't. So we'll start by unraveling it. This is where it gets messy. Oh yeah. Yeah, so some of these are going to be way too long. We won't need them anywhere near as long, because they've pretty much just got to go from the switch pretty much above your head right there to the fuse panel. So we'll have a look at that. Where's all my bits of paper? Hang on, we'll figure this out. I really should have done some looking at stuff again before I turned the camera on, but anyway, I'll be back. I'll do some figuring and then I'll come back and explain what my thinking is. Our main power feed in, which is going to be cut down, and the orange, which is our park light power feed, which is going to be cut down as well. So I might cut those down straight away and just get them out of the way, because they're about 9 meters long, which is the good thing about these American Autowire kits, is there's always plenty of length in the harness generally. And so from there we do have some, you know, the white wire is for the courtesy light, so I'll leave that as it is. This little grey wire is already got a plug terminated on it, and that was for the lamp wire, I think, which is to do with the courtesy lights as well. The yellow is, where is it? That it was our dimmer switch feed, so that'll only need to be so long at the most, sort of thing. It's going to come down the firewall to the dimmer switch, so it needs a bit cut off it, but we won't do that just yet. And then we've got our two browns, and one is the running light feed for around the back, and so that's like massive, it's like really long. And then the other brown is for the park lights out the front, and that's also really long, so that'll need to be run through the firewall and routed in some way. So for now I'm going to cut down the orange and the red just to get them out of the way, and then I want to separate the two browns and coil up the one that's going to go down the back, because there will be other stuff that has to go down the back when we do the turn signal stuff. So at the moment I don't want to run it down there, because that's actually all going to run down underneath these sill plates that I made ages ago for this. So I want to kind of collect as much of that kind of car running stuff, and it's all going to run down this left hand side, and then all the air ride stuff wiring will most likely run down the right hand side under that sill plate. So I've got provision to run all this wiring inside the car down to the back. But yeah, anyway, for these to start with, I'm gonna chop a hunk of these off just to get them out of the way. Hopefully that's leaving me with plenty. So that's the orange and the red out of the picture. I'll just get these sorted out and we're back in a minute. Okay, so I've cut that out, sorted out, although it doesn't look like it. That's my kind of going to the rear. That's the rear running lights, and then that one that's left loose at the moment is got to go out the front, I think, to my left park light. I'm quite 100% sure how this works with my park lights and my turning signal things as well. So this may change that way that feeds up there. I can't remember exactly how I've done it in the past, and yeah, there's no mention of the turn signals here on this, unless it's just the power. Oh yeah, it's just the power feed, eh? Anyway, never mind. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I'm going to plug this in. If I can figure out how to get it plugged to work. I don't want to force it, but it's new, so it's like new tight. Yeah. Now I shall install the switch, so that's done, out of the way, because that once, in theory, I shouldn't have to mess with the switch or the plug again until it kind of wears out or something, which hopefully won't happen. And I'm probably going to have to cut this down at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. To these switches here, you can pull that shaft out, but you depress that little button on the side there, and somehow there it is, comes out, and put it back in, just jam it in. But it's where the, yeah, once this, oh yeah, I should still be able to get to it. No, I won't, because my fuse panel plate's in the way. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. I'll get this switch installed. Use some light, which is going to be the best way. Come in through the top. Might go in through. Just like that. Where's my little thing gone? Okay, so you see that little notch on there? There's a matching notch on the switch housing as well, so I just got to get those to line up, and then I can get this little locking doohickey in there, and we're good to go. That's not going to tighten up. I need some kind of washer of some sort to dress it up. Have I got anything? Washer kit, which is like copper washers and crap like that for sumps, and I found this, which will hopefully suffice. I was thinking maybe a kind of bigger surround of some sort, but I don't know that I have anything, so hopefully this will be enough to. Could also cut this retainer down a little bit so it doesn't bottom out. It's still not enough. Maybe I do need to cut it down. Now it's stuck. Now scratch it's coming. Maybe I'll just cut this down so it doesn't keep bottoming out in the switch. I don't know how thick of a panel they were planning on you having. Yeah, so if I take a little bit off of that, that'll sort us, I think. I'll just go and do that. Just about 1/8 of an inch off of that, and then run around it with the flat disc, just to kind of hopefully get my thread back in the line. Try it without the washer. And see how we go. Will it still thread in? Oh yeah, there we go. It's not liking it too much, but what is going on? I still need that washer. Is it hitting that thing? Ah, I see. I think it's actually hitting the. I think it's actually hitting that tab there now, which is a bit of a. Might need to file a little bit of that off. What it's doing is. Why didn't I figure that out earlier? Yeah, so it's hitting that tab, which is obviously thicker than the thickness of my steel, so that's why it won't tighten up. Oh, I just have to go and file a bit off that tab, unfortunately. Okay, so I've taken that tab down, and I'm still going to use this washer actually, but I've taken a wee notch out of that. But I think I need to take a little bit more out just to get it to lock in with the tab, so we do not have any issue with that. Washer's notched, even though that shouldn't really matter, but I will try and line them up anyway. So go in that way, does it? Which was the best way actually? Oh, it's got to go that way, that's right. It's got a tab. And need my washer and my locking doohickey. Oh, that's better. Beauty, right. I'll stick this thing back in. It's way too long. Can I still get to that button? Not really. Where is it? Anyway, so that's the switch in. So then my red and my orange, that's going to go somewhere else, to the column somewhere, so I'll have to get under here and figure that out. My dip switch is going to come down the wall somewhere, the firewall, and all my brown bird's nest here, some's going out the front. So I think to start with, I'll get rid of this and run it out the front so it's not just in our way, and then we can sort out the rest of it. I'm going to cut this down just so I don't get kind of caught up on it. So I'm just going to put a mark on there with everything switched off. So that's kind of my bottom line there. Whoop, try to put my pen on my little fancy billet knob. And I'll pull this out and go and cut it down. Do the knee gimbal. Where's that button? There it is. There we go. So, that being said, how much does that normally... So it's about that much hanging out of there. So if I cut it off about there, it should be good. Might need a little bit longer for now, because I'm not sure whether I'll keep these knobs on there. I need to find something uniform across all of the knobs and buttons, so I'll just go and, yeah, so whether it be these, they're a bit generic billet things. I need something to replace the wiper and probably those heater ones as well. And yeah, something cool. Any suggestions? Let me know in the comments. And put our little fancy billet knob on there. They look quite nice in here actually. I wonder if I should just get some more of these. And it just has like a little grub screw. Just like that. This is actually for the dash lights, so that'll just stay there for now until we do the dash harness. Whether I try and hang that up over there. Like I said before, that's my rear running lights. I just better double check that. It's written every 100mm 4 inches on these wires, so that's rear running lights. So that's my tail lights and dimmer courtesy lights. So what I'm going to do now is I'll terminate those, I'll cut those to length, and I'll fit them up into the fuse panel, get them out of the way. Done the headlights, so this is pretty much what I'm talking about when I say terminating these. So that's going into the part. Make sure I get that into the right spot. And just tighten these down. Give it a little pull test. So there's my wipers, there's my heat. So next on the kit is the accessories, which I think is the radio and heat and wipers, which I've already done. So I think I just got to run the radio wire which is just a, I can't remember if that's a switched or constant coming out of there, but I don't know, we'll figure it out. As you can see in here, we've got some sort of spare accessories here and there, which we'll be able to use for, you know, switching other things that may be needed, you know, or we can double up into these if necessary as well, depending on what it is, of course. Oh, and the horn, that's got to go somewhere too. I think that's just got to go up the front. The accessory bundle, and this is the heater wire, which we don't need because we've got our own heater wire, so chuck that over there with the spares, and we're left with the radio and the horn. Happy mess. So the radio is this tan one. It's the same in all of these kits. For some reason I remembered that, but I think these are generally GM color coded. So yeah, so there's me radio wire. So we're not going to need all of that. So we'll terminate that and run that over to the other side, and I might just put a bit of tape over the edge of it for now. So we're going to run that up over there somewhere and into that console. I have to find a nice way to kind of run it with any other wiring that we've already got, so we can try and keep it all together. And then this green one is going straight out the front to the horn, where the horn's going to get bolted up, wherever that might be. And so I can terminate that and run it out the front as well. So I might do that first, get that out the way. Okay, so next up in the headlight and accessory kit is all this stuff here, which is, most of it is up the front. It's the actual headlight, high beam, low beam sort of stuff, and a bunch of earth grounds and shit like that. Some of it does come back up the front though, I think. Well, obviously comes up to the switching and stuff, but coming apart quite nicely. Oh, spoke too soon. This one here, I think that has to come back up the front. So that's your high beam indicator light. Maybe it doesn't even go out the back, I don't know. So that's got to go into the dash cluster as well, I think. So that'll kind of, yeah, so we've got those grounds. Are they just loose? Yep, so they're not attached to nothing. Yep. Okay, so then with grounds, what's that brown wire? License light. Why is that in the headlight kit? Weird. But anyway, where does that plug into? Don't know. Headlight high beam, indicator light, headlight low beam. Oh, is that my switch? My dip switch. It is too. Learn something new every day. So speaking of which, that's that mamma jamma here. So it's got to have that yellow wire added into its harness. So that'll be just plugged in there. Now yellow wire will go in there, so that's our main power feed in for the dip switch. So that's going to get mounted up on the firewall. I really need to dig out the carpet and see whether there's a hole already in the carpet for it. To, you know, and then that'll determine exactly where I put it. You can see the original high beam was here, but that's been welded up. I think I did it. So whether we put it back in the same place, that would land that about there-ish, and then the wire will run up there. So with that being said, everything bar that one with the plug on it's got to go get fed out to the front, I think. Yeah. My carpet, which is not aging terribly well in a box. There's no hole provision for my dip switch, so I can put it wherever I want, and the factory one is down here, so but I'm going to put it up a little higher. I tend to like them a little higher, so I'm going to stick it right about there. So drill a couple of holes, put some riv certs in there. Just like that. This is my dimmer switch light that I had, wire that I had hanging up over here before. I routed it and I've cut it down because it's got to go into there like so. So I had to find the right type of fitting for that. Now there's, if you look at that, hopefully you'll be able to see that, there's a skinny one and a fat one, and I'm using the skinny one on this particular piece because if you're looking, I've only got one wire going in there, but if you look in there, you can see the two green wires, see how they need extra width. I'd say that's what the fat one's for, and the little skinny one's like that tan wire. So I just got to do the old snip and crimp type stuff. See on there's a little tabby thing that sticks up out the back of it. Hopefully you can see it just right there. That should line up, so that should be the top. And you just push that in and hope for the best. It should click. Should. Operative work. There we go. So that's that like that. So that's all that's going to go to those. So I might actually loom that up, tape it up, so it's just all in black and not zip ties and stuff. Okay, well there's my sunnies. I left them in there last night. Where was I? Okay, so that's the headlight switch connection kit done. Next, I haven't actually done all the headlights and stuff up the front. I've just run all the wires and that up there, because I don't want to kind of like terminate those and route those yet until I've done all the turn signal stuff, you know, which is next apparently. And this is where it gets confusing for me anyway, because I've got to figure out all this and yeah, figure out how all that works and rewire that turn switch, because I want to put a new wire all the way through it, you know, and clean it all out and stuff like that. Should have done it before I painted it, yeah, I know, but I kind of got impatient and I was doing something else and I thought, oh, I'll paint that while I'm at it. Anyway, so what's done is done. Now I have to kind of sort of backpedal a little bit into that switch assembly there, figure out how it works, like what does what, and then I can replace wires wire by wire, if that makes sense. And because being an American car, brake lights, running lights, turn signals in the back are all kind of work together. It's a little bit different with New Zealand new stuff. We have separate indicators, which is sometimes easier, sometimes not. But I have done it this way before on my C10, but I can't really remember the signs. At the time it all went, oh, that makes sense. But now I have to kind of relearn that, because that was, we're talking over a decade ago the last time I did this kind of circuit. It's been about 8 years or so, 7-8 years since I wired the truck. So, you know, we've got to do some relearning. I don't retain stuff forever. It gets filed away under L for lost. So yeah, we've done headlight and accessory kits, and now we're on to steering column and turn signal kit, which is, I think, this one here. Steering column and turn signal kit. So we'll open that up and have a bit of a looky-see and see what we're in for. Main bag, pulling the instructions out. It's quite cool, like this is kind of largely pre-terminated with a lot of the kind of core stuff, which means, you know, I just got to kind of marry it all up on the other side of that, crimp and plug in, make sure I get everything to line up for the most part. Came with one little earth strap. I've got to figure out where that goes. Or ground, it says on there, it says ground. Okay, so this is my column connector kit, strung up here like some kind of strange hunting prize. But this, I've separated this is all going out the back, this will be going out the front, and all this stuff here mostly is under dash, but some of it is to do with the courtesy lights and the brake light switch and all that kind of stuff, and some of it will be harvesting to, you know, see that hunting reference, harvesting, to rewire this. Now I've already had a little bit of a poke around in here, got really confused and took some stuff apart, and I think I've got to take this little spring off so I can then pull the switch through. And I've just been upstairs and had a look on the interwebs. Some kind person had I've got water on it somehow, asked a question about it, and this had been printed up. So this gives me all the color codes, hopefully for all the tracer wires, you know, the wires with their tracer markings and that, but when they're so aged and stuff, it's going to be hard to identify. But if you look at that little bit there, it's hopefully it's focusing, it does tell you where what all the terminals in that are. So with all of that, I should be able to hopefully rewire this little indicator switch and have it work with any luck. If everything flashes and it doesn't work and blows fuses and that, it's probably going to be my wiring in here. But let's finish pulling this apart and see what we can figure out. Oh yeah, no, that worked. Sweet, so that just sits in there, does it? Alright, that little wheel, there's a washer and grease and stuff, that all just sits on that little spindle like that. And for now there's another little flathead locking thingy bob. It's going to hold that wiring down, so we'll relieve it of that. And you can take that little plate out, and that should get my wiring out of here. My old wires, that is, because it's so cooked and baked and brittle. Oh, it's all soldered choice, but on the upside it does look like my picture. I want to try and take this out complete so I can confirm my wires and colours and stuff. See that one there, that's that little bulb. I mean, look how brittle that is. I'm going to be doing away with that, so I don't need that. So I'll be able to just eliminate that from the equation and bring it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires, and then that jumper that runs across up the top there. So I've got to figure out what I need, and I want to confirm my diagram. So that should be black, that should be red. Oh yeah, jumper. But yeah, hopefully the switch is all good. And right up the middle, which is that one there, is our main feed, I think. Yeah, it comes through from the fuse, and then that one there should be a brake light switch. And then we have our black and red underneath there, they're our left and right front, and then these two out here are our left and right rears. Okay, doing some investigating and just like translating what wires need to change, you know, so I can pretty much remove all of that stuff, desolder it all, and I've worked out that my dark green will go to here, my yellow will go to here, my dark blue, light blue being left hand, right hand front, right hand, left hand rear, purple will be the one that runs up the middle, and then orange, which is what's going to come off my brake light switch, will come across and into there. I've got to double check that one actually, I just had a thought, hang on. That one will be white. That'll match up with the white, where is it there? It comes off the brake switch and it all goes into the brake switch from the column connector that's already pre-wired, so that'll be white, and it'll go through to the white on the other side. So that's what I gotta need. So I gotta go and cut me some lengths of that stuff so I can then replace all of this. So I'll need a good sort of, you know, 1/2 meter, 600 mil sort of thing. Give me plenty so I can, you know, have the connector up under the dash and out of sight, out of mind, hopefully, and easy access in case I cock this up. So I stripped back all of this and took that little bulb out that runs up into the housing, which I painted over the little plastic bit anyway the other week, so we don't need that anyway because there's a provision on this harness to feed into the idiot lights on the gauge cluster, so I have my left and right things flashing on there anyway. I've stripped back all my wires. This is my little jumper that's going to go across there. Got all my other wires all sitting over there. I noticed I've thrown them all over the place, all ready to go, and I'm just waiting for my soldering stick to warm up and I can start desoldering this and laying the new stuff on. So we'll just wait for that to heat up and we'll be back. Ow, landed on my foot. Yeah, what have we got left? Just the purple one. Alright, them all done. Now I start desoldering this. See how compatible my old solder is with my new solder. Sometimes when I'm trying to be soldering onto old, you know, solder, there's an issue with what I currently am using compared to the solder that was used back in the day. So how this will work, I'm not entirely sure yet. I will maybe try and remove as much of this old stuff as possible. Alright, oh well, let's pick a wire, any wire, and start. We will start, I guess, with the purple wire that's going to run up the middle. Pull that off my little bunch. That, I wonder if I should trim them down as I go. Don't need quite that much on there. Maybe put a little bit of new solder on there. Oh, so far so good. Okay, so going next to that will be our light blue. Just double check. Light blue. Sweet. And so we might as well stick to that one side. So we'll go yellow. Chuck a little bit more on there. So that's that. Now we've got to go over the other side. I won't do the white just yet. I'll do the dark blue. And dark blue should be the one right next to the purple. Confirmed. One up from that is a dark green, which will be that one there. Give it a trim. Cool it off. Might put this on. And then my white, not that end, this end. Ow, This is still hot. Should I take this up before or after I put it back in the housing? I'm going to go before, that way I can get the tape right up into it. Jam that in the drawer. Probably got a bit much here. I'll check and see how far up I need it to go up under the dash, but it doesn't really matter if it's too long. It just means I can tuck the plug up somewhere well out of the way. Know what I'm saying? Actually, I was supposed to do one final double check on my wiring to make sure I'd got everything on the right points before I went too far, but I'll put eyeballs on that before I after I've done this. Alright, so just put this thing back together. I almost cocked up and almost put the plug on the end of it before I did that, but that would have been daft, wouldn't it? Okay, so got that all back together, as I think you've seen. I can't remember what I filmed. I just went and had a little bit of lunch. And undo this. It's a freaky little system. It seems like it feels like an afterthought that Chevrolet had. But anyway, that you know, the way it just clamps around the column. I think this little wheel rubs up against the underside of the steering wheel to sort of auto cancel. So you kind of have to have this switch mounted kind of up tight against the steering wheel, if that makes sense. Can that work that way? I don't quite know. Other than that, now it doesn't want to work. Okay, take that off again and take it apart and find out what's going on. Strange, it was working earlier. No, I think that little rubber thing wasn't sitting down into its washer and everything properly, so it's binding. I'm sure I tested it earlier. Might chuck a little bit of lithium grease on that actually, not on the rubber, but on the other bit. I think that's how it works. So you can't have it pushed too hard up against the underside of the steering wheel because it just won't allow that little wheel to come out. But there's no kind of guides or locators in any way to kind of sort that for you. As far as the wiring running down here, I'm just going to run it down there like that for now. I'll put some zip ties on there for now just to kind of hold it up and out of the way, or once I put the plug on it, where I figure out where I want the plug, and I'll loop it up over the column about here, or maybe just as it disappears under the dash, because there's no provision. I was wondering what that hole was, and then I realized it's probably for the column shift that would have been in this car originally, which I don't know where I've got that stuff, but doesn't matter, I'm not using it. But yeah, it just means I've got a random hole there that I didn't really prep up terribly well before I painted. But anyway, I need to change the battery on this camera, and then we'll figure out our length for this, and then we'll put all the pins in, and then go on to the next step with the harvesting of the, I don't know, that thing. Okay, so battery's only at 17% on this one, and the other battery doesn't want to play at all. It's just not even turning the camera on, so we'll be quick. I'm going to cut this down. I measured it quickly to about here, and then I'll terminate all of this with all my little pins. So I'll get rid of that. Unwind some of this tape now. That's alright, in theory. Okay, oh, this stuff sticks like shit to a blanket, doesn't it? Here we go. There, finally. Right, so unwind a little bit of it, because you need to spread these wires out a bit to get across that wide thing. So we'll go to about there. So we've got this doohickey here, column connector, and a whole bunch of these little terminals like that. So I'll get that all those on, and then we'll be back. So yeah, I've got to go and try and get some battery charging happening. It's in the charger. That's the one that's not behaving, so I don't know why. There's always been one that's been weird. I probably should go out and buy a couple new batteries, but I kind of thought the GoPro would crap out completely before the batteries did for some reason. But anyway, so they haven't been doing too bad. They're nearly sort of 3 years old, I guess. Well, they're about 3 years old, and hopefully with my first YouTube payment I might actually be able to buy a new battery. Anyway, let's get us on charge. So, update. What have I been doing while I've been waiting for batteries to charge? Locks. We've got all the column harnesses all plugged in, brake light switch is all wired in as well now, and what else we've got going on? We've got the turn signals run up the front. We've still got to run all this down the back, and what was that again? I think it's the third brake light switch, I think. Third brake light power, so that's got to go down the back as well. I think that goes with all of that stuff. And God, don't want to go anywhere at the moment that I want it to. And yeah, we've also, this hanging out of here is for the door light switches, the courtesy light switch, so I've got to run a wire up into the roof, which the original factory wires run up through the A-pillar, and I thought I'll never be able to get wiring back up through there, but see that? You see that? Just up in here, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it. I'll try and get some light up in there. I can't see anything up there, so I'm kind of going completely blind. There's kind of like a hole there for that wiring harness to come up through, and I just slid a bit of welding wire down there, so I'm going to use that as a draw wire to take this white mamma jamma up into the roof, because that's just the earth or the ground feed or whatever for the courtesy light. So I'm thinking I still need to take power up there as well. Yeah, which it would be from here, I think. I've got to figure this out. This battery's still not charging. God. Anyway, so that's a little update of where we're at, so I'll carry on. Hey guys, so batteries are still taking their own time to charge for some reason. They're charging super slow. So I mean, this one here's only got like 20% after probably about 2 hours on charge. But little update, got our door switches in and wired. I think I've got it around the right way. It's a kind of weird ground circuit type thing, and it's a little bit different to the previous ones I've done. How this particular harness sort of setup kind of controls it. I've either got it round the wrong way, and I just need to switch 2 wires over if it is. Well, yeah, I think so. Something like that. So what else have we done? I can't remember where we were at. Relocated these. These are all going to be part of the dash harness. So that's my turn signals. Can't remember and can't remember. So, high beam and can't remember. And yeah, just kind of like terminated a bunch of stuff up in here. I'll get some light on the subject. And yeah, so trying to keep it neat. I haven't started tidying all this up yet. I'm not sure. There's still probably going to be some stuff that's got to feed through the firewall. That particular grommet's getting a little bit tight now. And out the front, I've just got everything sort of laid out for the next stage, which won't be in this video. Why? Because I'm running out of weekend and running out of brain capacity. So there's a couple of things I need to get. I've got to get that little diode, and I need to get a push button, momentary button for boot release. I have actually got a couple, but I'm not sure if I want to use those, because I was thinking of putting one here, you know, for the trunk release, and that's just a momentary button. I'm not sure what else I'm going to use that hole. I did look up what all of these holes were for on the 51 Fleetline, and I can't remember what they were factory for. There's a few other things still got to address. Trunk release, I've got to get more wire for that. I need about 8 meters, and these little rolls here I bought are only 4, so I've either got to get another one of these and join it, or yeah, try and find some longer one piece. Got a little thing. I wouldn't mind seeing if that'll work. It should do. It might just need a good clean up. That momentary button is for our ear ride system, and I have got this one here, which is I've actually got the factory starter. I suppose I could use that, and that'll fit the hole and be period correct, just as long as it still works. We reckon might do that actually, so I might leave that out. Still got to run some wire out for my washer bottle, which I haven't got yet, so I don't know where that's going to go. What else we got in here? And then we got the dash kit, which is going to be a whole adventure on its own, which is, or a gauge kit. And what's that? Ignition switch column kit GM mount. Yeah, I don't have that. Some spares. Another brake light switchy thing that was on the VZ thing. I think that's more transmission stuff, but I don't know whether I need it or not at this point. Still got to do the neutral safety switch, so I need to get under the car and get to that. Either that, or I could use this stuff here on the locker. But I was thinking that would be quite cool to use for, I'm not sure if you can actually, but maybe a reverse light if I put reverse lights in, but that means more wires that need to go down the back for reverse lights and stuff. Do I need reverse lights? I don't know. Can be added later if I feel it's a thing. I do kind of like having reverse lights, at least that way people know you're backing out of a car park or something. Don't have them on the truck, and it's always kind of on my mind that when I'm backing out people don't know I'm reversing. So anyway, but yeah, making gains. It's, yeah, like I said earlier, it's like the wiring itself isn't crazy hard. There's some things that are take a bit of thought, but the majority of it is kind of quite relatively simple-ish. It's only when you start adding relays and all sorts of crap like that things get a little bit more heady, I guess. And there's parts of it that make perfect sense to be in other parts. I'm just, yeah, kind of a bit, I'll try it, and if I blow some fuses I'll change those and rewire it. But yeah, sort of, it's getting there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, but that's where I'm going to leave this video, because yeah, SD card's getting pretty full, even though I skipped a whole bunch of stuff, so I don't know what the edit's going to come up like at this point. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share, comment, let us know what you're working on, and don't forget we're on Facebook, Instagram. Until next time, take it easy and peace, and as always, thank you very much for watching.